The time by Sagicor Bank is
Tonight in CVM News, JUTC set to surpass revenue goals despite recent price cuts. Jamaican-born appointed U.S. County Attorney Sasha Lee Edwards makes history, becoming first female G2K president. Expert shares Jamaica's budget possibilities in regional comparison, and internationally, Israeli strikes in southern Lebanon claim paramedics' lives in a direct hit on their headquarters. Of course, we will have sports for you as usual. Hello from Kingston, Jamaica. This is CVM News at 7 for Sunday, March 29, 2026. I am Caroline Brown. Thanks so much for joining us. History has been created with the election of the JLP's Generation 2000 G2K's first female president, Sashana Lee Edwards. The St. Mary native beat fellow candidate Newton Harris to become the young professional arms historic female leader. In a statement, the party says Edwards secured a decisive win, earning the trust and overwhelming support of the G2K membership. Well, she spoke with the media at Sunday's annual general meeting.
I decided to run for G2K president because I believe that young professionals should get involved in the democratic process to shape the future of Jamaica. I've served in G2K for 9 years. 9 years I've served as DGS and General Secretary. So I believe that if we want to see the future of Jamaica, we have to get involved.
What can we look forward to in G2K?
So persons can expect G2K to be more vocal on national issues and more prescriptions on policies to come. Expect a more vibrant, more active, just expect more from G2K. We're here and we're here to stay and we're here to grow.
And as International Women's Month draws to a close, history was also written in Broward County, Florida, USA, after the commission unanimously appointed Jamaican-American attorney Anika Ashton as the next Broward County attorney. Born in Jamaica and raised in Broward, Ashton will take office on September 10, following the retirement of Andrew Myers. She currently serves as deputy county attorney, leading critical work in finance, real property, and affordable housing. A Princeton and Columbia Law graduate, Ashton has clerked at the federal level and practiced with major law firms in New York and Miami. She's also a past president of the Caribbean Bar Association, making her appointment a proud moment for the Jamaican diaspora. But Ashton's rise signals more than professional excellence. It also reflects the growing influence of Caribbean voices in U.S. leadership. The state-owned bus company JUTC is on a transformative journey, so says Managing Director Owen Ellington. He outlined a raft of improvements on the part of the company while boasting a return of its tax compliance certificate.
In the last year, Jamaica Urban Transit Company has seen significant improvement in its management, its operation, and its output. We have paid all our bills. We go no one. We have, for the first time, I am told, since the inception of the company, been compliant and current with paying over all statutory deductions to the government. We have done so well financially in terms of management that we have now had our tax compliance certificate restored to the company. So we can do business of certain magnitude without going through third party. We have launched new routes within KMPR and beyond the boundaries of the KMPR, providing services to places like Montego Bay, Negril, Ocho Mandeville, Maple, Old Apple, Linston, Buckwall, Toms River, Morant Bay, Dallas, with more to come.
And the managing director assures revenue is increasing despite fares being cut by 50% over the last 2 years. He says they are on track to surpass previous peak revenue performances.
Last year, we are on course based on information I'm receiving to surpass revenues earned by the company when we had well over 400 buses on the road in the early 2000s. And I was told by a general manager of a particular depot that the revenues for the last week are higher than they were when the company got 100 new buses in 2024. We're seeing improvements in service quality, and we are seeing improvement in customer experience to the point where customers now take high quality, reliable and affordable services from JUTC for granted.
This is the follow-up now. In putting Jamaica's $1.4 trillion budget for 2026-27 into context, CVM News took a comparative look at Guyana's oil-backed budget and Barbados' budget that underscores cost of living, as is suggested by the opposition PNP. CARICOM tax leader Brian Denning explains why Jamaica's budget falls somewhere between the two nations' plan. We get more from Nika Lewis.
With Jamaica's budget now debated and set to take effect this fiscal year, we sought to compare it to regional nations Guyana and Barbados. So why these countries? Well, Guyana has oil, something Jamaica is now in search of, and aside from tax reversals, a fraction of Jamaica's budget.
They introduced a number of new measures, but they're all revenue kind of reducing or tax revenue reducing or relieving measures. In other words, there were no new taxes. One of the big things that they did, very big ticket items, was that they announced a cash grant for every Guyanese national over 18. I believe a one-time grant of 100,000 Guyanese dollars, which is about $480 US. And based on their estimates, that looks like they're estimating that they're going to pay out about 600,000 people for that.
And in the case of Barbados, they've adopted a more cost of living centered approach, much like what was suggested by the opposition People's National Party on a smaller budget. So where does Jamaica's budget fall and why? PwC partner Mr. Brian Denning is the CARICOM tax leader.
Our debt to GDP ratio is about in the low 60s, I think, here now currently in Jamaica, whereas I think it's about 93% or thereabouts in Barbados. So the approach is different. I think the government has taken a conservative fiscal position given everything that we have faced and you know what's ahead. But the balance is do you free up things a little bit with more borrowing and place less pressure? Because I mean the opposition's position was it's like it's a triple whammy with the Hurricane Melissa, the Middle East situation in terms of the war in the Middle East and the effect on oil prices.
Barbados didn't adopt a new tax approach and instead took the route of reducing cost of living and offering temporary givebacks.
That they did not introduce taxes and are kind of absorbing the costs. Government not seeking to impose new taxes on their population from their recent budget. That was, I think, 16th of March when they did their budget. They provided some relief. They had some increases in income tax allowances, or and the rates, the tax-free allowance. But they also are rebating some of the taxes that are currently on energy costs.
But Mr. Denning explains the hurricane and other global factors have pushed Jamaica into a tough spot, as was explained by Finance Minister Fayval Williams and Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness. He also reminds different factors are influencing aspects of the budgets in various jurisdictions. So what does Jamaica do now?
It's a different philosophy, but I think the philosophy of fiscal discipline has served Jamaica well over the last while, and I think we'd obviously be very cautious to move away from that. But what we need to do is we need to also now implement a range of different measures to help to stimulate the economy. We had suggested a number of things in our initial newsletter in our preliminary review of the budget, and so we would encourage the government to take a look at those further. There's something that the government had previously looked at and announced that they were going to do. But obviously with the hurricane, there were other priorities.
Nika Lewis, CVM News.
And as the government continues to defend the budget, Education Minister Dana Morris-Dixon points to what she says is early progress on key promises. Kevin Black continues.
Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon says the government is already delivering on key manifesto promises, citing investments in STEAM schools, skills training and youth employment as a part of the 2026-2027 budget. She was addressing the Senate on Friday.
Mr. President, this administration is not in the business of making decorative promises. We're in the business of performance. We said we would create stronger pathways from learning to earning. And now we're doing exactly that through the tertiary LEAP program, and I'll speak about that some more. We said we would expand access to skills training, and we're now advancing one of the boldest steps in that direction for Jamaicans. We said we would modernize apprenticeship, and now Apprenticeship 3.0 is taking real shape.
Senator Morris-Dixon says education remains essential to national development, with new programs aimed at linking students directly to employment opportunities.
The pilot of the Tertiary Learn, Earn and Prosper program, which is really the Tertiary LEAP program, will provide a pathway for tertiary education into employment by offering paid on-the-job experience for students. So often they say you can't get the job because you don't have any job experience. So what we'll be doing is, while our students are studying, they will get these opportunities in private and public sector to work, and they suggested what they wanted the salary to be, and we worked to see if we could really accommodate it.
The minister also defended the government's record on youth development, noting a significant decline in youth unemployment and expanded support for young entrepreneurs.
Youth unemployment in 2015 was over 30%. The last set of data we had, youth unemployment was at 10.6%. If we're looking at the numbers in foreign, their youth unemployment rate is at 10.8%. We're at 10.6%. Those are the kinds of numbers we have to talk about.
Kevin Black for CVM News.
Now, the spectacle of Jamaica's Sandals Duns River Resort in St. Anne was welcomed into the homes of millions of Americans on Today with Jenna and Chanel. Joel Crossgill shares a glimpse.
Is costing the government significant resources, with cleanup operations taking hours.
Of course, that was the incorrect insert. Let's now go to that report with Joel Crossgill.
Live from Sandals Duns River in Mammy Bay, St. Anne, Jamaica's tourism product was platformed on America's NBC Today, hosted by Jenna Bush Hager and Chanel Jones, whose guests on the powdery white sand included recording artist Sean Paul, as well as Jamaican-American actress and cultural ambassador Cheryl Lee Ralph, who legend has it may appear if you just say Jamaica 3 times.
It's a very easy thing to do because I love Jamaica. Somebody was going through my filmography and they said, you know, I think you've mentioned Jamaica in just about every film, every television show, every radio interview you have ever done. And for me, it's very easy to talk about the things and the places that I love. Grand Jamaica, yeah, that's me.
Tourism Minister Ed Bartlett says the show's appearance on the island augurs well for Jamaica's tourism industry.
This is a big activation for us as a destination, and it's part of the strategy for the building back stronger and better. And we've spent a few months on this to enable the partnership between Sandals and the Jamaica Tourist Board to bring to a larger, audience in the US. The reach is over 1 million in this instance. The fact that we are back, Melissa bent us a little, but it didn't break us. That we're back in strength, and the resilience of the Jamaican people is evident in all around. And certainly the resort here is a true reflection of how strong the recovery has been.
For Grammy Award-winning executive producer of the Today Show, Talia Parkinson Jones, bringing the show to the island was meaningful in multiple ways.
It's been a wonderful time. I was originally born in Kingston, so to be able to bring my show back to Jamaica has meant the world to me. We traveled all over to Jamaica. We went to Montego Bay, we went to Trelawney, we went to Kingston. It's been an amazing ride so far. There were over almost 50 people that have been here from the crew, so it's a pretty big production.
The exposure for the parish of St. Anne was welcomed by the Mayor of St. Anne's Bay, Michael Belnavis.
Part of the capital of Jamaica right here, and when NBC chooses to come here to be a part of the entire St. Anne, to be a part of Sandals, to be a part of all the hoteliers and experience the gastronomy, to experience the people, to experience who we are as a nation. It's really great, and we're excited that they chose culturists to come and see what is it that we do as a people right here in St. Anne.
Adam Stewart, Executive Chairman of Sandals, says the Duns River Resort was the perfect choice to host the production and showcase Jamaican hospitality.
Sandals Duns River is what we call Sandals 2.0. So it's a hotel that we've taken over. It was in the portfolio for years. We bought it back in COVID, totally transformed it, and it's a real true reflection of what Sandals represents today in 2026. And it's just an incredibly beautiful resort. The team members are amazing. It's an amazing representation of the soul of what Jamaica is, and we're incredibly proud of it. So see the smiles on everybody's face in the morning. We couldn't be happier. The Sandals team has done an amazing job.
Joel Crosskill, CVM News.
Now, also of national interest, illegal dumping continues to impact garbage collection across Jamaica, with the National Solid Waste Management Authority, the NSWMA, warning it's draining resources and disrupting schedules.
Illegal dumping is costing the government significant resources, with cleanup operations taking hours and disrupting regular garbage collection schedules across communities. According to Community Relations Manager at the National Solid Waste Management Authority, NSWMA, Shannon Williams, some dump sites are even recreated within hours of being cleared.
So you will have people who comply, but of course you will always have those who refuse to comply. Simply put, some people refuse to have a bin at their gate. Despite the trucks going into communities to remove the waste, some people refuse to have bins at their gate. What they opt to do instead is to bring their waste from their homes and place it in illegal dump sites. Sometimes they place it on the main road because, of course, the trucks will have to clean the main roads. So the truck may come clean the area now, and within an hour or two, you start with 1 and 2 bags and then an entire dump site.
She says illegal dumping is straining resources and undermining collection efficiency.
Rather than coming to your gate, taking up the 3 or 4 bags from your bin, which will take less than a minute, they have to be shoveling and raking and rebagging and the waste. And so that takes hours. So much time is spent cleaning these dump sites on a daily basis. It delays us from adhering to our collection schedule.
Williams maintains that current penalties are not strong enough to deter offenders, with greater focus now being placed on enforcement.
Well, $10,000, $2,000, those are not deterrents. As you can see, people continue to dispose of the waste because the fines really, it's affordable. People will just pay it and keep doing what they're doing. Mr. Gordon would have mentioned earlier in an article that he is now placing more attention to the enforcement department, so they will have way much more work to do in order to bring more persons before the courts so they can now understand and feel the effects of what they're doing.
Kevin Black reporting for CVM News.
And we'll continue with CVM News in just a moment.
I'm me the stylist, no scammer, no style me.
From the market to the farm to the office, money talk is everywhere. But are you making sense or nonsense? The Bank of Jamaica brings you common sense with BOJ. Real stories, real laughs, and real lessons to help you protect, grow, and manage your money. Mattress savings.
At least my mattress, no charge me to sleep on it.
Partner plan.
Remember last year we needed our payouts early? But Miss Pam gave it to her cousin first.
Or a sketchy loan flyer.
Electrifying deals.
See why making the right financial choices is pure common sense. Brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, empowering everyday Jamaicans one episode at a time.
Grandpa, it's 2026. You can't keep hiding all your money in every single pocket forever.
Welcome back. Epilepsy advocates continue to call for more support from society as they strengthen efforts to reduce the stigma still being endured by many individuals who have been impacted by the condition. Natasha Williams reports.
On surviving epilepsy, despite overcoming seizures for over a decade now, living with the condition is still hard.
The ailment of it destroyed my life, my social life. Your social life, you cannot drive, all of those things, your independence.
She experienced her first major seizure when she was just 3 years old. Since then, each time she's about to experience an episode, her body would send warning signals like deja vu. The seizures leave her with fractured memories.
I've suffered major injuries. I've suffered a broken arm. I've had status epilepticus. And with this, it's I lost my memory from the status epilepticus, lost my memory, was unable to identify family members, friends, and I even end up with an accent.
While her seizures are triggered by stress, lack of sleep, and being on her menstrual cycle, Executive Director for the Jamaican Epilepsy Association, Joy McHugh, says there are over 40 different types of seizures and triggers vary. She underscores the importance of everyone having basic first aid knowledge on how to help someone having a seizure.
The first thing one should do is turn them on their side. So that if they have any fluids from the mouth, it will drain out to the side. Do not try to hold the person down. If they're having convulsions and they're shaking, leave them alone. They will be fine. Because if you go to hold them down, they may hit you in the face.
Turning now to news elsewhere in the region. In St. Lucia, a woman is nursing head injuries following a shooting recently. Residents reported scenes of confusion and fear as gunfire erupted. The details from DBS TV News.
Quiet evening in Mondodo was disrupted on Thursday after a shooting incident left a woman nursing a head injury. According to the St. Lucia Fire Service, officers responded to reports of a gunshot wound at approximately 7:41 p.m. Upon arrival, they found an adult female conscious at the scene.
On Thursday, 26 March 2026, officers of the St. Lucia Fire Service responded at 7:41 p.m. to an alleged gunshot wound incident at Mondidon, Castries. On arrival at the scene, an adult female was found conscious in the presence of police officers. An assessment revealed a laceration to the left frontal region of her head. She was treated, then transported to a medical facility for advanced medical care.
An eyewitness who requested to remain anonymous described the victim as a kind-hearted and hard-working individual.
A quiet girl, she would be to herself, her family, like, a child father. She would just, buy what she need from the shop, come home, go to town, say she should nail, like, women catering, and that would be the most part of it. You would hear like maybe people that don't like her, they would say things about her, but you wouldn't hear in a quarrel or something like that.
And farther afield on the international scene now, Israeli strikes in southern Lebanon have killed 2 paramedics in a direct hit on their headquarters. Let's get more from Al Jazeera.
Lives lost. Families shattered. The war is taking an unbearable toll on those targeted by Israeli airstrikes. At least 120 of the more than 1,100 people killed in Lebanon were children.
My son is 10 years old and my nephew is 9 years old, and they were killed. My brother was in his home, an engineer and a municipal council member. Suddenly the Israeli army targeted this building, and suddenly my son was gone, my sister's son was gone, and my brother was gone.
It's a story told time and time again as Israel intensifies its offensive in areas where Hezbollah has a presence. But Israel's actions extend beyond military targets. Paramedics have been burying their colleagues. Dozens have been deliberately targeted and killed. International human rights groups point out that medical personnel are afforded special protection during conflict. And that must be respected. But Israel is accused of acting with impunity, as it did in the previous confrontation with Hezbollah in 2024.
These attacks are unacceptable, and there are no excuses. They violate all international laws, and we, the ministry, we reject all Israeli accusations against these medics.
Make way for sports right after this.
ready to make a lasting impact? Transform Life Solutions presents the Global Impact Leadership Summit, Rebuilding Jamaica from the Center. Saturday, April 4, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. at the Garden Hotel in Mandeville, featuring guest speakers, the Honorable Professor Leslie Rogers from Trinidad, Honorable Dr. Patrick Williams from Belgium, Leadership Coach Dr. Jacqueline Cousins from Jamaica. Admission is free. Hotel accommodations and exhibition booth spaces are available. Register now at www.tls-events.com. The Global Impact Leadership Summit, April 4. Don't miss it.